the assignments, we'll be using an online code compiler called Replit. You're going to start by clicking on the Replit and signing up or logging in. And you're going to do this with your Google, if you could. That just makes it a lot easier. And what you're going to do is come over to New Replit, or New Rep. And for those of you doing Java, you're going to click on Java. For those of you doing C#, you're going to click on C#. You get the opportunity to change the title, so let's call this one Hello World. And then I would advise that you maybe make it unique in some way moving forward, so I'll put Murphy on mine. There we go. And then create. And it just so happens that it starts with Hello World. That is a standard starting pattern for any new coder. So there you go. It's already written. So this is the C# version that you're looking at right now. And this is the Java version. Notice the difference. This one has system.out.println, which is a very popular way to write to the console in Java, and the other has console.writeLine hello world. But they're generally the same in the way they look. Now the way this works is if you want to run the code, you click run. And it will run the code on the side. It will let you know that this is the file that's being executed and this is the output, hello world. You can then, for example, copy paste this little line of code, type code, and run the code. And then you can also share the code by clicking share. And here is the share link. This is what you will turn in. This is what you will turn in to me when you are turning in an assignment. This allows me to see the code. Note there are two files here in this C#. There's two files. The second one is gibberish, right? This is the compiled code, and this is the coding that you actually do. Let's run this Java one. There's only one bit of code here. They do not include the compiled code. For those of you who are into the dark theme, you can change it to the dark theme, which I like to do. If you needed to make another class to go with your project, you would click on the add file. Or if you wanted to, you can add folders and make folders. You can also rename your file up here where it says edit. If you need to make a copy of it and work from an existing one, let's say you started a project and you need to make a copy and to continue, right? Because a lot of times you can use code that you've started with. You can choose fork, which is a way of copying. That's how you copy a project. So I'll click fork. And notice how it says Hello World Murphy-1. To look at all your replets, you can go My Replets. And you will see your replets here. Anytime you want to edit them, you can click on it and edit them. Again, anytime you want to share to turn in, you're going to share it here. Notice your code, if you make an error, will tell you there's an error. And for a lot of times, it'll tell you the line of the error, the line code. So you see line 3 here, and it will tell you what is kind of the matter. It doesn't always know, but or it might predict that that's the wrong error. So, for example, if I had this correct here, and I forgot a bracket here, my error may not really know what's going on. Okay. If you're ever stuck and you don't know what the error message means, you could Google that message. Um, yeah, that's the basics. I recommend that you bookmark the home page and then drag it to the top center of your Chrome bar so that you can come back to it at any time. A couple of the basics for writing code in both C# and Java is that all of the code exists between these brackets, right? So you have this bracket. Notice how it highlights this one. This is code sandwich. You got a bread on top, bread on the bottom. And then you have another set of brackets, another code sandwich. You have bread on the top, bread on the bottom. And this is your meat and potatoes. So keep in mind as we're moving forward that all your code needs to exist between this bracket and this bracket for the most part, for most of our assignments. When we are making methods, they exist here. But all the while, your class has to have a top and a bottom. Much like the HTML tags have HTML and HTML, same idea with these code sandwiches. Notice too here with Java, same idea. You have brackets that kind of encompass the class, and then brackets that encompass the main method. So please keep in tabs, making sure that you have your code sandwiches. Your classes all have brackets to start and close, and you cannot write after those brackets. You will run an error. And then you have your methods. In this one case, for the most part, we'll have one method we'll be working with early on in our coding learning. After that, we may have more methods, and each method will consist of another set of brackets or code sandwiches. So keep that in mind moving forward.